What's going on, everybody? Doc from Average Gamer Guys, back yet again, more Halo Wars 2 action. So we've got some good news and some slightly not so good news. So the good news is, Colony update, it is out, it's live right now. It's at a just over 10.1, about 10.2 gigs. So people I'm seeing on the forums are still having issues where the download starts up, it sits at 0%. And then when they hard reset, they're going back and the game has to completely reinstall. I personally went in, I just opened up, I fired up Halo Wars 2, it brought me back to my menu, said it needed to update, hit the update, 10.2 gig download, no issues. That's the good news. So the update is live, it's on its way. Sketch posted about 4 hours ago saying it's going to hit, it's out, and we're almost there, but we're not quite. And that's the bad news. So we can go in. I've got it. It's clearly here. It's still not uploaded in the store though. So I'm waiting for, and I think a lot of us are waiting for it to come live in the store. I have the season pass, so as soon as it does, it should update, trigger in the game to allow me to select this, and then we'll be good to go. Interestingly enough, everything else has been reset though. So if we back out, we go to multiplayer, we go find match. New season, all seasons are good to go, everything reset. Same playlist that we had before for this. Obviously, all of the balance updates are also live. I'm going to do a separate video on that, talking through all the specifics of what is coming out with the 10.2 gig update today and the Colony DLC. Multiplayer staying the same though. Interestingly enough, if we go into Blitz, it seems like they simultaneously listened to us and then didn't. If we go to find match, we have ranked duel now. So we get our 1v1s back finally. It is ranked. So I know for some of you that aren't so enticed by the rank system, that does kind of suck because we don't even get the option to not play ranked. We just play 1v1s. We get ranked standard, so 2v2s. But then they took away ranked brawl. I think it was probably because there wasn't a very large community playing ranked brawl. People getting in threes teams, and that would be maybe something that could see a little bit of discrepancy as far as teams coming in threes, whereas if you queue it up solo threes, it's kind of hard to play. But I think more so it probably is just based on the fact that there just wasn't a lot of people playing. I know I tried to queue up a couple games last couple days, and I had a hard time finding it. What's interesting to me in both good and bad, so I'll play the bad side first. It just sucks that there's nothing not ranked besides brawl. Not even 2v2s, which I thought would be the one thing that they would absolutely keep. If they brought ranked ones in and not regular ones, I guess I would have been all right with that. But it's interesting to see the only one unranked is brawl. That's the bad side. The good side is it will bring more people that want to play Blitz. It's essentially forcing you into these 3 games. So if you're hardcore into ranked, and you want to go and you want to progress, your pool when you do these first 10 matches and then even after that, it's going to be a lot bigger. People are forced to play these because those are the only options. So I'll be curious to see how this evolves over the course and what the community thinks about it. Again, personally, I'm happy that the 1v1s are back. Ranked standard is fine for me. But I do wish that they would have at least put in unranked 2v2s because I think that was probably the biggest pool of people. And I think they're going to miss out on some. People are going to be a little bit upset that there's no unranked 2s. But again, on the flip side of it, I am happy because it is going to force and put a lot more people into these playlists. So hopefully the video I uploaded early this morning, hopefully we're not seeing the same issues that we do when we queue these games up because, you know, the communities for all of them are going to be bigger. So curious to see what your guys' thoughts on that as well. Since we can't actually access the DLC right now, I will go into the card library and show you the cards are live. So they're here. So as we talked about and spoiled them a couple days ago, here's our Goliath sitting at 40 energy. Be really interesting to see how this plays out. The ram ability, ramming and stunning nearby targets is kind of interesting. But when you compare it to the next card over, Hunters at the same energy costs, it's interesting. This is a little bit better against infantry, not good at all against vehicles, which I thought is kind of interesting as far as the type. I would have thought it at least been kind of neutral to both. So we'll be curious to see the power level on that. Obviously, again, comparatively, no leader or no power here or extra ability, but just kind of interesting. So we'll be interested to check that out. See how much health this thing has as well. It is supposed to be kind of a tank unit. Flipping over, we'll just keep moving through. We see vehicle symbiotes here, which is you know, the lowest of the powers that we get for Colony. I think this could actually be really good. I've never been a big fan of the buffs, but I do know the buffs, especially in regular multiplayer, really do help. So I'd be curious to see how this works in the tree. And it's sitting at 60 energy, not too bad. I think this is going to be one of those cards, Living Barrier, dropping the wall of these obstacles is going to be one of the most interesting and most influential cards if it works like I think it does, and if these barriers have enough health, and depending on the AI of you know, the enemy player. Again, I talked about it earlier, but it'd be interesting to see you drop these down. You kind of deny that. You sit a couple units behind it, like they are even shown in the picture. If I send a group of units over to attack, and maybe I'm not micromanaging them specifically, I'd be curious to see what they attack first. Do they attack the barrier first? And it's obviously probably dependent on what I select, but if I just move them over, and maybe I'm trying to move them past to get to the group behind it, it'll be really interesting to see how this works. I think this, in conjunction with some blast units, dropping these down, dropping a blast unit in, and kind of trapping the escape, while maybe putting some units in front, could be really interesting and could kind of revive blast for me a little bit. So I think these could be really awesome. They could also stink. Jury's out, but I'm happy about this because this adds definitely a new dynamic to the game. So really interesting leader power there. We'll keep swapping over. We've got, oops, one too far. We've got Engineer Swarm. A couple of you hit me up. I think I did get this wrong, so I do apologize. It is an error. It is not an area of effect healing. It is a specific unit heal. I believe it drops in 12 to heal 12 different units. I'm curious to see how long these last. I'm curious to see what kind of damage they would absorb if you know, an enemy player is attacking as well. I do think this could still be really, really good. The fact that it drops in specific healers to specific units, I think it makes it much better than an area of effect healing. So it'll be very interesting to see. And definitely it's similar, but not quite the same as what we've seen before with some of the other banished leaders or the UNSC leaders. So be interested to try that one out. The card I'm the most scared about, the Enduring Locust. I'll be curious to see the power level on this thing. Obviously, we'll talk balance changes and updates, but it doesn't look like the Locust has lost a whole lot. So this thing having Last Stand 2, I think makes it even that much better of a unit to put up on OP Ridge and Blitz. I'm going to be really honest, because now when it dies, it throws a couple other units up there, or even putting this thing right on a point. I think gives it a lot of viability. Obviously still has the shield. I'll be curious. We do need to talk about the balance updates. Again, we'll do another video for that, but watch out for this. Watch out for Colony really using a lot of the Locusts, and we will see how good these end up being. We have the Scarred Hunters, which I think these things are going to be really cool. I think these are essentially the veteran version. Sitting at 100 energy, it's 2.5 times the cost, or 1.5 times the cost of a regular hunter. So I'm really expecting power output, health from these guys to just be top notch. I'm going to be honest. They haven't disappointed in this category so far, so it'll be interesting to check and see how those could work out and how those look. And then the infamous Skitterer Mob already, the thing that essentially not ruined, but really delayed this DLC from coming out. I think these are really cool. It's going to be interesting to see how the strategies evolve with these, specifically in multiplayer, but also in Blitz, how people can use them. They are rushed, which we didn't know earlier, so that's really good that we get to see this. I think that's awesome. So you're going to be able to drop these in. This is a really good leader power that I'm really, really excited to try out and use. And hopefully it's a good inline balance I'll also be curious to kind of see what happens to these when the host unit dies. What happens to the Skitterer? I assume it just goes back, but maybe when one unit dies, this thing dies as well. And we'll see kind of how that balances out. But really cool, really excited to use that. Those of you that know me, I'm not the biggest on the powers piece, but that is one that I'm really excited to try out, as well as living barrier. This is going to be, I'm excited. If you guys can't tell, I'm excited for this update. And then this thing, I cannot wait to deploy this guy. Hunter Captain, you're seeing it. Yes, that's not a Mirage. It can attack air, and it's even neutral against air, which is really interesting. The taunt mechanic essentially makes it so that enemies nearby have to attack that unit. I'll be really interested to see how they balance this guy with health and shields. I'm assuming he's going to have more so than any of the other leaders we've seen before, or maybe he'll drop maybe 1 or 2 health right in line. I'm hoping he'll have more because of his ability. His ability is drawing the attention. Shock and Siphon together, I think this is going to be a brutal combo. I'm glad they put him at 260, which again, as you can see, he's the highest of any of the leaders. The only things we have higher are Condor Strike and Scarab Assault at 300. This guy's sitting at 260. I think he's going to be awesome. I'm super, super excited. This is probably one of the leaders that I think really they did a great job with the art. I think it looks super cool. I'm super excited to try that out. So guys, again, the update is here. 10.1-ish, 10.2-ish gigabytes to try and download. Be patient with it because I'm sure there's a lot of people queuing it up. And now we're simply waiting for Colony to go live. So hopefully by the time you see this video, hopefully it's up. Hopefully you can jump in. Again, stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Twitter. Join the Average Gamer Guys Xbox Club. We got a ton of stuff coming out over the next couple days covering this leader. We're going to get some just gameplay impressions. We're going to do some multiplayer. We're going to do Blitz. We're going to update our unit comparisons. As you can see down here in the bottom right, I have 21 packs to open. So I'm cracking this. As soon as this hits, I'm going to crack the packs I get, unlock all those cards, and then I'm going to rip through these 21 packs and try to get this thing almost close to in line with what I've got. I think I average about a 3. Actually, I can look specifically. Average close to 3 for level. So it'll be interesting to see. Try to get the Colony units close and get some Blitz play in. And honestly, I'm going to be running some 1v1s. I'm going to be running some 2v2s. And I'm probably not going to play 3v3s. No, we'll jump into each of them. We'll test these out. We'll see how player base is and all that stuff. So please stay tuned. Again, please subscribe if you haven't already. And there's that little bell. I know a lot of other YouTubers, we're not the only one that have talked about it. But if you hit that little bell, it'll send an email. It'll essentially notify you that we've got another video up. So make sure once you subscribe, hit that little bell. You'll see all of our stuff pop up. And again, we're going to cover it fast and furious. And we're going to make sure that we get a lot of good content out for you guys. So hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully, again, by the time this goes live, it's up and ready to use. I've been Doc with Average Gamer Guys. Thanks so much for watching. Check us out real soon. More to come. Thanks.